Racer Radio on AM 1170 The Answer is sponsored by Love Radio Network. This is Racer Radio on AM 1170 The Answer. If it's a car, motorcycle, boat, or anything else with an engine in San Diego, it's on Racer Radio. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. This is Racer Radio. I'm Dave.
I'm Michelle.
And this segment is brought to you by Hot Rods and Custom Stuff, 2324 Auto Parkway in Escondido. When you're looking for good quality custom hot rod parts, that's where you need to go. Whether you need a part, the whole car, or have them build it, 760-745-1170. Now, for all you race car drivers and classic car and hot rod folks, San Diego Carburetor and Fuel Injection has all the carburetor and fuel injection parts you need for your custom hot rod race car. Makes no difference. Go to sdcarb.com, sdcarb.com. All right, we got a very, 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 very special guest in the house. It looks like Brittany has brought these folks in so that she can just cruise and work on her race car probably this weekend.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering. She didn't respond to my text asking.
Well, I had forgotten that she was the one that set up. We have Benjamin Irey and his son, Deegan, in the house. They race up at Barona Speedway. So we'll get, see, Deegan and I are trying to watch the tail end of the NASCAR race. So this interview might be somewhat shaky.
Somewhat stilted.
So, Deegan, how are you today? All right, so go ahead and pull that mic just a little bit closer to you. There you go. All right, so how old are you?
I'm 9 years old.
Okay, how long you been racing?
I've been racing for 2 years, and I have 2 championships, 2 Rookie of the Years, and 13 wins.
Holy moly, what class do you run in?
Last year I was in Sportsman. This year I'm in Masters.
Okay, now these are not great big cars. These are like dwarf cars?
Yeah, dwarf cars.
Okay, what kind of engine do they run in them?
They run a Harbor Freight Predator motor.
Oh, okay. Geez, a Harbor Freight? Did you buy the service contract that goes with it? Couldn't help myself.
I don't really know. You'd have to ask my dad.
I know. So let's talk to Dad for a second. And you'll have to admit, let's pull that over there. You'll have to admit, the old Harbor Freight thing, when you're standing in line and you buy something electrical, 9 guys behind you, buy the service contract.
Absolutely. The service contract, it's like a 100% peace of mind. If you walk out with something that doesn't work, you bring it back, they give you another one. So
Now let's talk a little bit about, this is the first time I heard that there was a class of race cars that uses a Harbor Freight Predator motor.
Yeah, so this little class was started out at Barona, and they started running these little Harbor Freight Predator motors to keep the cost down and get the kids into motorsports and get them racing. So these motors are $99 off the shelf, and we put them in the cars. Of course, they require some tuning and a couple other little parts to get them where they're at. But the long run is that it's a cheap power plant that these children
and the motor will run all season.
Yeah, we've run his primary race motor all season long.
Wow.
And it's still running strong. So
that's amazing. So Deegan, do you have to work on the car?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I usually clean the car.
Right.
He does all the
mechanical.
Stuff like that.
Well, right now at this point in time, there's not a whole lot of setup on this car, is there?
We do some different setup. Yeah, there's stagger in the cars. So we're working on tire pressures. We're working on spring rates in the front, as well as overall weight and where to place the weight in the car. So adjusting these small areas of the car really help the performance overall on the track, and ultimately give them that other advantage that they need. These are momentum cars. So you got to keep that momentum going. If they start shaving off speed and loading up in the corners, you're going to get a slower car.
Yeah.
So it helps.
So, Deegan, have you figured out what tire pressure does to the car and what stagger does? Have you figured that out already? Or is it still kind of a learning curve?
It's still kind of a learning curve, but I've figured some of it out.
Well, one of the problems, and I take my hat off to you because I've raced my whole life and I still I don't know what none of that stuff does. All I know is put your foot all the way to the floor and hang on for dear life, which is never going to get you a win race. You're going to end up crashing more than anything. But I would think that the track itself changes so much that air pressure and suspension and all that your dad's asking you to give an input, that's another factor that you're 9 years old. I mean, and I guess whatever your communication skills are between you and your dad must be working. How many championships? How many wins? And that's a sign that at least you and your dad have got a good communication. Have you found him to be able to tell you what you're looking for?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the biggest things to develop with your young drivers, have a communication, whether it is that they're telling you the car's loose or tight, whatever their feedback is, as long as you understand it and you can take that information they're giving you and turn it around and help them, you develop that rapport with your driver and that information, and it helps them in the long run for sure.
Right.
So Deegan will come in. He'll tell me the car was loose, Dad. I couldn't hold the gas in the corner.
Right.
Or he'll come in. He'll let me know the car was pushing up the hill, and I'll know what to do.
Well, and I think the communication between the two of you, who cares, father, son? I mean, it could be driver and crew chief.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's all about communication. And for him to learn that skill at this age, that's pretty stout for 9 years old. You got to take your hat off, and a lot of it goes to you and your tutoring. I mean, let's face it.
Well, thank you, Dave.
Well, he doesn't know anything about cars. I mean, you're the one that's got to teach him everything about it.
Actually, he teaches me a lot too. Believe it or not, yeah, he's a smart boy, very smart, and I thank you for that. But yes, he helps me as much as I help him.
Let's just call it the team, right?
That's right.
Who else is on the team, Deegan, besides you and your dad?
It's definitely my sister Penelope and my mom, and maybe a little bit of my grandparents too.
What do you make Penelope do?
Does
she cook?
She cheers me on.
There you go. So it's a family thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, it's families that race together stay together. I mean, from what I've seen. I mean, I don't know about you, but it just seems that way.
I hear the same.
Yeah. So everybody in the family's kind of got a job?
Absolutely, yeah. Mom's in charge of making sure we're fed, making
sure you're there,
making sure we're there on time. We're not the most timely individuals, us boys, so we rely on Mom to keep our schedule. Penelope, as Deegan mentions, is his biggest cheerleader, so she's up there in the stands with posters saying "Super Deegan" and all these good things. And yeah, the togetherness of it all.
Right.
We all have a position out there, and it comes together as a family. And
how old's your sister?
She's 6.
So she's just a little guy, huh?
Yeah.
But she's a good fan, right?
Yeah, she's a great fan.
What school do you go to?
I go to Marvin Elementary.
Okay. Do the kids know you race?
Yeah, all of them do, basically.
Yeah. Have you taken the car to school?
No, I haven't taken the
tell?
car, but I've showed them videos that my mom has taken up in the grandstands.
Sure. I'm just impressed with it. But you know what? I don't know maybe it's what's down here in Southern California, but we've met a lot of young kids that are phenomenal drivers.
Yeah, we have. This needs to be a breeding ground for that. It really does.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now did you race when you were younger?
I didn't do anything competitive like Deegan. Okay. I grew up running around. I grew up at the beach, so we did a lot of surfing. We did a lot of stuff like that. The biggest, fastest thing I ever got on was a motorcycle, and we rode dirt bikes and stuff out in the desert.
So anybody in the family race prior to Deegan? Like Grandpa, So
we don't have a family lineage of racers.
So you've got raw talent sitting here.
So he just wanted to do it.
Yeah, but he's winning like crazy.
Yeah.
He has talent.
Yeah.
I give him that. He's an incredible little driver. Yeah.
We got to hook you up with a guy by the name of Bill Davis. He has sponsored or Napa as his big sponsor, and he's always looking for young talent.
Well, we would love to meet Mr. Davis. That'd be great.
You would like meeting him too. He's a super, super nice guy, and he's put a lot of drivers, in the driver's seat. Brendan Gaughan comes to mind, and Cameron, Austin Cameron. I don't know if you know the name.
I've heard the name, yes.
Yeah, and he raced. He was doing. Then he got cancer, and he had to quit driving. He's now recovered, and he's in submission. But
that's great.
Yeah.
So what made you start driving, Deegan?
I started driving 2 years ago, and it's been a really fun.
Yeah. What made you want to?
It's gotta be like a little bit of Dad, a little bit of the Cars movie, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dirt Dude's taking full credit of having you here.
Thanks, Craig, for having us out here.
Brittany under the bus. All right, Dirt Dude, you get all the credit.
Yeah,
hey.
we're big fans of the Cars movie too.
Oh my God, don't even start.
Huge fans. Well, it's nice to have you both here, and so we'll talk to you more after the break.
Yeah, we're going to take a small break, pay a few bills, and we come back a whole lot more right here on Racer Radio. And Deegan Irey and his dad Benjamin, we're going to talk racing some more for Barona Speedway. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Racer Radio right here on AM 1170. You are the answer. This segment is brought to you by Barona Circle Track. Go to www.baronaspeedway.com, baronaspeedway.com, 1750 Wildcat Canyon Road in Lakeside. You can take your food, your alcohol, as long as you behave yourself. You can go camping. You can do stay up there all night, get up the next morning and with the birds and drive home. You don't have to worry about trying to come off the mountain at nighttime. Barona Speedway, family-owned and operated, great group of people. In fact, we have Deegan Irey and his dad, Benjamin, in the house.
And he is a Barona racer, a junior racer.
Yeah, what division do you run in?
I run in the Masters. Next year, probably going to be running a junior sprint.
Oh, okay.
It's getting built right now.
Nice.
All right. Who's building it for you?
Sam, which is, I don't know if you know him, Ron. It's his friend, and he's building me a junior sprint.
Okay. Does he have a business doing that, or does he just kind of do it on the side?
I think he's doing it on the side, but I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's more of a privateer. He's working from home, and he's an ex-engineer. And
there's
he's
what you
building us
want.
a really nice chassis.
Yeah,
so
just leave him alone. Don't even talk to him. He'll come out with a whiz, that's for sure.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So now what kind of a step up is this for Deegan?
This is a big step up. Actually, the class was designed around 11-year-olds up to 14-year-olds, Deegan being 9. This will be a big challenge for him going in. But with 2 years of mini dwarf Masters experience, the little cars.
Yeah, Masters at 9 years old. Can you believe he's a Masters at 9?
Yeah, because he won the championship.
I know,
the year
but
before,
it just
so
the
that's
two
what they
just
do.
don't.
They put you
That's
up in Master if
that's
you
like-
win the championship.
that's like black and white. It just doesn't fit.
He
But
mastered
anyway,
it in 1 year.
so what power plant will you be
So they'll
running?
move up to a different power plant. So these cars are running a Briggs & Stratton motor.
okay.
So they're a little bit more expensive, a little bit more power.
Still
and-
dependable.
Right, and about the same size, about 212 cc's, I want to guess, somewhere in that neighborhood. Making about 13 horsepower, I'm guessing, out of these things, maybe a little more.
And you're making what right now?
These are 6.5 out of the box for the Predator motors.
Right.
I'm just going to guess and say they make 10 or 11 once you soup them up.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you been in one of those cars yet, Deegan?
Sort of. I haven't been in it like racing.
But you've been on the track?
Not really. I've been to his house and sat in it
I
while
see.
it was being like built and everything.
Yeah, because no different. It doesn't make a difference how old you are. You build the car around the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the seat has to fit you a certain way.
Yeah.
Do they require Hans devices for his division?
Yeah, absolutely. They require some sort of a neck device
system.
There's several devices out there, anything from a Hans device. Impact Racing's making a very nice unit called a Next Gen.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, Simpson and the other brands. But, yes, some sort of a head restraint system is required.
And by the way, folks, that piece of equipment is not cheap.
No, not cheap at all.
When I see these NASCAR drivers throwing them across the track when they're mad, I'd be the owner. I'd say, guess what? You just bought yourself a Hans device. Put that in the closet. You're in serious trouble.
And I'm sure those are extra expensive. Those ones are custom made, I'm sure.
You think? So I guess that brings up a good point, Deegan. Do you have a temper when you race, or do you stay pretty mellow?
I stay pretty mellow, but every once in a while, if somebody does something to me, I might get a little bit mad and give them a little shove.
Oh, so you will go up and say, hey, guess who? Kind of.
Yeah.
Like what? I want to hear a story.
Well, no, we don't want to do that because then the competition will know, and we don't want to give anything away to the competition, right?
Yeah.
See, we don't want them to. We just, as far as they know, everything is just fine. I know. Story of your life.
I wanted to hear a story.
I'm sure you did. But again, I guess at 9 years old, this is going to be a really, really hard question to answer. But do you plan to stay in racing for as long as you can? Is this something that if you could make a living at it, you would do it?
Yeah, I would keep racing. When I grow up, I just want to do something that involves racing with motors.
Okay. So are you getting to a point where you want to start taking things apart and putting them back together, or do you just want to be the driver? Me, I just want to be the driver.
Same with me. I just want to be the driver.
Yeah. I got stuck crew chiefing for 3 years. It is the worst thing I ever did in my life. Because I'd put all the blood, sweat, and tears in the race car, and then somebody else went and drove it. I didn't even get to go out on the racetrack with it. So it got to the point where I said, this is absolutely no fun.
You don't think it made you a better driver?
No, it made me very irritable. And especially if the driver didn't. I had one guy, he would not go fast. I would stand on top of the pit box and scream, "It's the pedal under your right foot." I mean, he was the worst driver I've ever seen, but he had more money than you could imagine. But be that as it may.
So he paid you well to scream at him.
So what's going to be your backup? Are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to a trade school? What are you thinking?
I'm not really sure yet.
You're not that far down the road?
No.
Yeah. Well, there are people out there that are college, then there are people that are not. I just think it's a tough decision to make, but you need to make that kind of a decision. I don't like it when people say, "Well, you got to go to college and you got to become a lawyer." And
I would never tell anybody that.
No, I think you need to, and I think what your dad and mom are doing is giving you opportunities in front of you.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah, that's like you're not just going to eat mac and cheese.
No.
Mom's going to throw some broccoli in there, some Brussels sprouts, and pizza, different things, so you can make a decision whether you like those things or not. And I think that's the important part of family, and it happens more, I think, in motorsports than any other form of sport.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some kids take to playing a trumpet or
Sure.
they go, they're soccer players or whatever. And if you are drawn to being in the race car and being a driver, you should pursue it.
But if I take you to, and if I get you piano lessons and I find out after the third day you hate piano lessons, I'm not going to keep sending you to piano lessons.
Because that's just torture.
Yeah.
That's just torture.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I think.
Drawn to the acting, that's another thing. Some people say, should I become an actor? Well, if you're not drawn to it and you're not passionate about it, you don't want to, and it's like everything you're doing has to be related to acting and theater, then don't do it.
Right. So let's talk about the important thing, sponsorship. Who's on the car?
Well, Deegan, go ahead. You take this one.
Who's on the car, kid?
SoCal Paintworks, Elite Metal Tools, AFCO, Douglas Wheels and Tires, United Cleaning Company, Victory Graphics, and I think there's one more, but I can't remember it.
Is it that one right? Can you see it on the car? She's showing you a picture of the car. Dad, was he missing one?
No, I think he's got them all covered here. I think we're fans of some of the other stickers that he's got on his car, but his sponsors, he did get all of them.
Yeah.
Listed
Now, does he have to go out and garner sponsorship, or do you do that?
That's something that we've been fortunate. We're involved in the community. SoCal Paintworks did some work on an automobile that my father and I restored, and they were kind enough to.
Aren't they great guys over there?
They're great, and so we went down there. They powder coated his whole car and gave us paint to do all the stuff.
Wow.
And did a great job on that. A lot of these guys are stepping up because they know Deegan's in racing, and they're offering the help. So that was great. So we're still new to the sponsorship thing. It's something that we both need to learn a little bit more about. But we are happy to have these folks on board and helping us out.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of the main sponsor.
That's correct.
Is there a business behind that, or is it just your wallet?
No, absolutely. I own United Cleaning Company here in San Diego. We do power washing service and power sweeping service for the local hotels, hospitals, and HOAs. And that's been what I've been able to. Our business has helped support his racing, and that's great.
And the important thing by me bringing that up, folks, it's not just because I want to know how many sponsors he's got. It's that you need to know who these sponsors are. So whenever you need power washing or metal fab or paint work, use the sponsors off these kids' cars, because that's what. And go in and say, hey, by the way, I was listening to you guys on radio, and I heard you're sponsoring Deegan's car. We'd like to, get a paint job or what have you, because that's what'll keep sponsorships going. Because unfortunately, and Ben, you'll know it better than anybody, just giving somebody a sticker and expecting a couple $100 is going to be pretty tough nowadays.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the fact that Deegan is as good as he is, not only on radio but in general public, I mean, it's going to be a win-win for anybody that would like to sponsor.
I agree with
this guy.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He gets a lot of time out on the in the victory circle, and a lot of good exposure for his sponsors.
Well, what we'll do is we'll kind of get together and we'll help you put some packages together and maybe try to get some doors to open. I think if a car dealership was to sponsor you, I think that would be huge.
That would be huge. Yeah.
And El Cajon Ford, I don't know if you know Paul Dyke.
I don't know him directly, but I know El Cajon Ford.
And he goes out and he races himself, his PJ, and his whole family races at Barona.
Wonderful.
And I think if, let me see what I can do to help maybe throw a couple, maybe if nothing else, If Paul won't do it, I'll go to the service manager, Don Horn,
Okay.
and get a Quick Lane sponsorship.
I love it.
I mean, Quick Lane's on drag cars. They're on NAS. Well, I haven't seen them on any of the Mustangs lately, but no, seriously. And there's no charge at our end. We'll be more than happy to help you garner some sponsorships to hopefully make his dream.
I really appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you, Dave. That's the great thing about having good kids like this and being a parent, helping them follow those dreams, helping them, get just that one step closer to obtaining it all.
So now what about Penelope? Is she going to start racing?
I think she wants to. A couple weeks ago, she got her first K1 speed race in.
How'd she do?
She did pretty good. Pretty good.
Did you stay up with her?
No, I kept lapping her.
Yeah, the truth comes.
You know, a lot of the young racers have really good grades. I have to ask, are you a good student?
Yeah, I'm a really good student.
Uh-huh.
All my teachers love me.
I knew it.
You don't have much choice, because if not, guess what gets taken away?
Racing.
Thank you. Yeah, I raced go-karts. I was big into go-karts my whole career because I didn't have a dad like you had, and I didn't have the money that your dad doesn't have. So consequently, I just stayed.
Right.
I just stayed in go-karts. Yeah, and I was going to be an F1 driver. That's all there was to it. I even joined the Army, but I didn't work either. So, all right. With that being said, anything that we missed? Anything that you'd like to say?
Race is coming up.
Oh yeah, what do you got? What's your next race?
I actually, the season is already
Oh yeah, that's
over,
right. Yeah. If we paid attention.
We might go to like a non-points race or something.
Have you ever heard of Cocopa?
Yeah, I think might go to Cocopa
Yeah,
a
they're
couple
still
times.
Everybody goes to
Absolutely.
Cocopa.
Yeah.
They say it's a phenomenal track.
It's a beautiful track, a great facility, and they've adopted the junior program over there recently,
we
and
heard
so
about that.
they're running all the way, I think, up through December.
Wow.
So it'll give the kids a chance to keep racing now that the season's over at Barona, and they can make their way out to Cocopa.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was asking, because Royce Henry told us that they just started a junior division. At 6
You know
years
Royce?
old, you can start.
We do know Royce and his wife Holly. Yeah.
So
Oh,
Penelope,
yeah, Holly's probably going to be calling in at 3:45. I got a sneaky feeling. She's become the PR queen for Cocopa.
she
Oh,
has.
she's
It's
sweet. Yeah, she's really nice, and her daughters come down and they do
shake and bake.
Yeah, that's right. They do the victory lane photos with the juniors. It's a wonderful occasion for everyone.
So when they were studio guests too, and they told us about the program. So Penelope could start if she's 6
But
years
who
old.
would name their child Shake and Bake?
Well, they're just nicknames.
I think those.
I
Yeah,
know.
But I bet they're rocking and rolling with those two, and they're busy. And shake and bake is probably very appropriate. I want them to come in.
They will.
Absolutely.
We'll have to get the kids in. All
yeah.
right. Well, hey, Deegan, thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome.
All right. One of these days, we'll have to get some stickers, and we'll throw some stickers on these. That's what we need to start doing. Racer radio stickers.
Oh yeah, we should. And thank you, Deegan, for bringing us a sticker that says Irey Motorsports. This is super cool.
We're going to put that on your Mazda.
I'm going to fight with Dave over this.
No,
we'll send you a couple more.
Yeah, right.